Hey y'all, this is Jamie. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Keep or Declutter video. In today's video, I am going to be using the City Limits palette from IBY Beauty. I'm going to create a look and decide by the end of the video whether I want to keep it in my collection or declutter it. But before we get into that, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video. Also be sure to give this a thumbs up if you like it, if you like the series. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so City Limits IBY Beauty. IBY Beauty is a brand that I had never really heard of until I started getting some of their products in beauty boxes. I'm pretty sure I got this in my Tribe beauty box, but I actually do have two palettes in my collection from this brand. This is what it looks like. This is what the palette looks like, and when we open it up, this is what the inside looks like, all the colors. As you can see, it is used, unlike my last palette, the Lorac Pro Chocolate Box palette. If you did not see that video, I will link it up in the cards above. That I posted on Tuesday. I think I've had this for a couple of years now. That might determine whether I keep it or not. But it does have a mirror, which is nice. And oh, the mirror says, "You are more than beautiful." Always nice to have a little inspirational quote to start your day. From this palette, it looks like this is mostly kind of an everyday palette. It has 12 shades. I can't tell if some shades have a bit of a sheen to it or if it's just some of the glitter from some of the other shades that have gotten into it. There is definitely 1, 2, 3. Well, that looks like it has a bit of a sheen to it as well. All of these look like they have little glitter particles in them. You know what? I'm gonna call them matte because they look mostly matte. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matte shades, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, duh. 12 minus 6 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Pretty good balance of mattes to shimmers. I am kind of looking at the matte shades, and I wish there was a little more variation to them. I'm gonna go ahead and create a look with this, and we'll decide if I'm gonna keep it or get rid of it. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this shade right here. It's called Playlist, and I'm going to use that as my crease shade. It is very crumbly. I like it. Pretty decent color payoff, especially for this shade, because this shade is like almost my skin tone. This is fun. I kind of like doing these videos because I almost feel like I'm doing a first impression of some of these palettes, because for some of them it's been years since I've used them and I only used them like maybe once or twice. So it's almost like using them again for the first time. It's cool, but also it makes me feel wasteful. Then I'm going to go into this shade right here. This is the darkest brown shade that there is in the palette. This is called Silent Disco, and I'm going to use that to darken up the outer edges. I feel like I should call it something else. I say that all timidly every time I say it, the outer edges. I kind of like browns that have an almost reddish tint to them. So like red toned browns, I really like. Alright, so I'm trying to decide what shimmer shade I should use. So I've got some swatches. This one is called Dance Party. This one is Fire and Ice. This one is Headliner, and this one is Light Show. Ooh, and there's another one called Drop Bass. It's like a pink. That one up there. I was thinking one of these two. Let's go with this one. So that one is the shade Fire and Ice. This is very similar to the BH Cosmetics Shannexo Remix palette. There was a shade called Avocado in that one. That was kind of this duochrome, like green, bronzy shade. That was my favorite shade in the palette. I feel like 2 videos in a row I've done kind of a dark look. So I kind of felt like this look called for a little bit of liner, but I don't like using eyeliner. So instead, I went into the shade Noir from the Soft Glam palette right here and did a little faux liner look. So I think one last thing I'm going to do is what I do quite often. I'm going to go into the same shade that I used on my lid, Fire and Ice. I'm going to put that on along my lower lash line. I did already put a little bit of that first shade Playlist on my lower lash line as well. I love having shimmer shades on the lower lash line. I think it looks so pretty. If you have some kind of eyeliner that you like to put in your waterline that has a bit of a shimmer, you can do that as well. But if you're like me and don't have a lot of eyeliners, because for some reason you're scared of buying them, I don't know why, you can use just shadow. And there we go. So I'm going to put on a little bit of mascara and then I'll be back with the verdict. Alright, so one thing I forgot to mention before. If you're using an eyeshadow, a shimmery eyeshadow on your waterline or close to your waterline, make sure that it is eye safe. So make sure it's not one of those shades that says not suitable for the immediate eye area. So mascara, same, false lashes that I use all the time. On my lips I'm wearing the Ulta Beauty Black Widow. I think this is the shade Norway. City Limits palette by IBY Beauty. So let's start off with the cons. Con number one. I think the shades are a little bit crumbly. So like for some of these, I feel like some of these matte shades have a bit of glitter and shimmer in them, like more than just surface level, because there's so much kick up and fallout in the palette. Another con, I guess lack of variation in the matte shades. They're all pretty similar, the shades are. So I wish there was something a little bit different. It does have a shelf life of 12 months, and I'm pretty sure that I've had this for longer than 12 months. So, pros to this palette. I like the shades. This probably is a palette that I wouldn't buy on my own because the shades don't immediately grab my attention. But like this shimmer shade, I've actually seen a similar shimmer shade in a couple of palettes, because I think I've compared a couple of different palettes to the BH Cosmetics Shanaxo Remix palette, that avocado shade. But I love that like duochrome green bronzy shade, like kind of purplish shade. I love it. Another pro, this is still available. So I was looking, because I was afraid since it's been so long since I got this, and I did get it as part of a beauty subscription box. I was like, oh, it's not going to still be available. And it's actually still available. It's available on the IBY Beauty website, and it's also available at Macy's. It has a mirror, another pro, a mirror with an inspirational message. So now for my verdict. From the list of pros and cons, I know you would probably say, so she's going to end up keeping this palette because there were more pros than there were cons. It is not a palette that I reach for. It is not a palette that's super unique, so I feel like I have almost all of these shades in other palettes. I think I even have some of these shades in palettes that I've already decided to keep. I think that shade right there is the only one that has me kind of like, maybe I should keep it just for that. But I feel like I have that shade in another palette somewhere because it's just not unique enough, and I don't reach for it, and I haven't for at least a year, I would say. I am going to declutter the IBY Beauty City Limits palette. Alright, so that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video. Also be sure to give this a thumbs up. Comment if there's any requests that you have, any products you'd like me to review, anything like that. Coming up on, oh, perfect. I would just reached for the next one. I have them all like lined up in the order that I want to do them, and it is from IBY Beauty as well. So this is the palette that is coming up. Give you a little sneak peek. Desert Vibes by IBY Beauty. So that will be coming next week. Make sure that you have your notifications turned on. And yeah, that is it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye, y'all.